Welcome to One Track Minds, where we pick a song to discuss in the context of the band and the album each week in the genre of post-hardcore and emo and punk. And today we are back again. This
Yeah.
is me, I am Matt, and this is Devin.
Hello. How's it going,
Devin, how
Matt?
are you doing
Oh
today?
my
I'm
God.
doing well.
This is we have nothing to talk about. We're both going for the small talk right away.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. I
Yeah.
just got, yeah,
Go ahead. Yeah, what happened?
well, I just got back a couple days ago from the Fall Out Boy concert.
How was that?
It was great. It was great. We had a really good time. I've never seen Fall Out Boy live. Have you?
No. No.
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was a great first concert for my 8-year-old son. Lots of fireworks, like lots of stuff going on. They kept it exciting. There was a giant dog. They keep it fun. I think they're like a perfect introductory band to the world of music that I love.
So this dog can just like a real dog or an inflatable dog?
No, it's like a giant, like a huge giant dog, just like a I don't know if it's like paper mache,
Okay.
but like a giant dog that just comes out and is kind of just there
Oh, it's
for no apparent reason, which I love. I love stuff like that.
the only thing I've seen like that similar to that is when I saw Blink 182 and I'm pretty sure Travis's drum set like lifted off the ground and he
Yeah.
was like in the air.
Mhm.
That was probably the most theatrical thing I've ever seen at a live show.
They definitely do stuff like that. I do feel like Pete, I mean, I've read interviews where Patrick said Pete like will just set stuff up like that and Patrick kind of just shows up and all of a sudden he's floating in the air and he had nothing to do with it. It's just like Pete has all these like weird ideas and then he implements them, which I think is, fun.
All right. Well, that's cool. So, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, what about you? What have you been up to?
Nothing. It's really hot in this room that I'm in. Central air only comes out of a tiny vent under a dresser. So, that's what I've been up to.
I like the idea of doing small talk before we jump into the
I
band.
hate it. I hate it.
You hate it. I know you hate it. I
Don't
don't
you
know
get enough of
why.
this? Like, you have similar jobs that I've had in the past, and like, ugh, that's exhausting to pretend to care about stuff.
It is like easily my favorite thing about the job, but it's okay. We'll move on. We'll get into the song and the band. So the song that I chose last week was "The Coast" by PUP.
Canadian cold, Canadian cheer. I couldn't spend another winter up here in this desolate fishing town.
A Canadian band from Toronto, Ontario, that formed in 2010. Um, do you have any experience with PUP? Do you know the band PUP?
Um, no, not really. I knew that they were a band, and I've known some people like them, some friends of mine, and I've never really heard it. Probably I have heard the one song, DVP, I think, in the past would have come on Spotify quite a bit. So this was my first time listening to this album, The Dream Is Over, I believe it's called. And yeah, it's it's pretty good. I don't know.
You weren't that crazy about it. Is that what you're saying?
I wasn't crazy about most of it, although I did like the song you selected, which was
The Coast. I selected, but okay. Well, first of all, quickly, PUP stands for Pathetic Use of Potential, which makes the band name worse, in my opinion. I actually did not know that until I started doing the research for the show, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
it like makes me like the band less.
I would not have known that, didn't know that, didn't do that much research, so I don't like that. I don't think it needs to stand for anything. It already is a word, so yeah.
It's just yeah, it's a word.
It's already a
Originally the
cool band
band,
name, yeah, Pup. Yeah.
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
But the original name I actually liked a little bit more. Uh, the original name of the band was Topanga
Yeah.
from Boy Meets World, which was one of my favorite shows growing up as a kid. Apparently, it was their first middle school crush, which, again, I have to question them as humans at that point. I really dislike Topanga.
I pretty sure I have vivid memories of being more drawn to Sean than Topanga.
Sure, I was certainly drawn to Sean, and like you know, like in my, I mean, who knows how these things work, but like for me, it was more like I thought I was like I wanted to be like Sean. I thought he was cool, but probably just loved Sean more than more than
Right.
Topanga.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool name too. I remember always wanting, if I was a DJ, I was going to be DJ Tanner, but I think that's actually been done like 1,000 times.
Yeah,
Callbacks to 90s TV shows.
from Full House, from
Yeah.
yeah.
Kimmy Gibbler. I swear that
Kimmy Gibbler's a good one. That's a good name.
I think a friend and I made a hardcore band or like grindcore band that was like 2 songs, and I think we called it Kimmy Gibbler. I was gonna say something bad, but I can't say. But we have a family show, so
yeah.
There's something that we came up with a version of the name that was, not appropriate for this show, and it was very funny.
We'll
I'll tell you off the air. Yeah.
I love it. I can't wait to find out. They ended up changing the name of the band because of the spinoff, which I have not seen, and I can only imagine
When did that
the
come out?
horrors. I believe around 2013, because that's when they changed their band name.
That's okay. Here's perfect. This is like kind of going back to my Lost naming a song in 2006 after Lost. It's like they changed it because you can't have a current relevant cultural reference in your name. It just feels
weird.
It's not good. Yeah. It doesn't
But
feel
I
like
also think I'm
smart.
wondering if like the show came out and the show was amazing, maybe they would have kept it.
No, but I don't think so, cuz like isn't that, I don't know.
There was something there's something cool about the name Topanga. I think that's a great name.
Topanga is a good name for a band.
But less
so is
cool if it's
Topeka.
a current running show. Topeka?
Yeah, Topeka, Kansas. I don't know. Anyway, but I think it's more just because the word is kind of cool. It stands on its own. PUP is also a great name for a band, and it's
I love it.
And like you said, made a lot worse by being an anagram. Anagram?
They
No, not anagram. What am I looking for?
Abbreviation? No. Anagram. I think you're
Anagram.
right.
It is a word. Yeah. All right.
So April 16th, 2013, they changed their name to PUP. They toured with Modern Baseball in 2015, who I saw in 2016, and I was like, oh, did I see PUP? I did not.
Modern Baseball seems to be a central character in a lot of the bands we talk about. Like I don't know, they have a big, broad connection for a relatively short-lived band.
Yeah, they flamed out, unfortunately, for mental health reasons, which is understandable.
Oh, I'm not too familiar with what happened to Modern Baseball, but pretty good band. The PUP, though, yeah, so this album in particular, I found it to be another case of 2 very distinct types of songs on one album, and then one that I was slightly more drawn to, which would be like more melodic and poppy, and then there's this other song type that kind of creeps up that's like trying to be a little bit more hard rock. Maybe it thinks it's kind of punk-ish, but I think The Coast, that song is stands on its own. Doesn't fit into either of the 2 categories, I think, and it's fairly good. Why did you pick that song?
There are a few reasons why I picked it. Number one, Canadian cold, Canadian cheer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is our Canadian month, and we're like spilling into August, because next week we're going to be doing one more.
But we're picking the last Canadian band still in July, so I think we meet the criteria.
We're in the clear.
Yeah.
So I picked it for that reason. I also picked it because I figured like the imagery might be appealing to you as somebody who likes horror and you love murder. I know you're a big murder fan.
I'm not a fan of murder. I mean, I guess I like horror. Yeah, horror. Yeah.
And there's like a horror element. Like
no, definitely. Yeah, I would talk like that's what I liked the most about it. I thought that it was the entire song was setting a scene. It touched on some things that I really am currently very into musically, um it's not a diary type song. It's very objective and storytelly. It sets like an atmosphere, um and it kind of tells a story, and that's exactly kind of what I've looked for right now. So I thought it was
But
great.
it is an outlier. It is an
It is
outlier
an
in the record,
outlier, yes.
which is very diaristic, very
Yeah.
uh like you said, storytelling and very much about like you know, whatever he's going through in that moment. It
Yeah,
seems like
I didn't really
which
sit with the rest of the album too much. Like I think I listened to it all the way through once, and then I jumped back and forth a few times to some of the songs that I liked a little bit more. I'll pull up a track list while you talk here, but because I can't remember the names. But
my lights went out, by the way. So about 10 minutes into this podcast, you'll just see like me in a dark room.
okay, why did your lights go?
I don't know. There's something going on with my. I have a ring light.
So how dark is it?
It's like light enough for you to see me.
Oh, okay. Second album by PUP. Okay. Yeah. So DVP I think is an okay song. The Coast I think is a outlier. Probably would fit into the category of a very good song. um, I think there was one that was like, ooh, these titles are not resonating with the actual songs at the moment. I can't quite remember, but Familiar Patterns maybe. I'm not too sure which one. It was the other ones I liked. Sleep in the Heat, I don't even remember, but apparently it was quite it had some celebrity backing. Was it a music video or something?
Oh, I'm
With
not
Finn
sure. Who?
Wolfhard. Finn
I'm not
Wolfhard,
familiar.
the actor from Stranger Things, is in some way
Oh, no way.
associated with this band.
Who does he play in Stranger Things?
Like the tall kid. I'm not.
I think he's like, if I remember correctly, like he's in the indie scene. Like he's in an indie band. Like I remember hearing something about the like an actor from Stranger Things being an indie artist.
Yeah, I think he is, and it looks like he's been in a few of their music videos. And then, if you Google it, he's in. The actor starred in the. Okay, so before he was a famous actor, he was in the 2014 Guilt Trip music video for the band PUP, and then he reappeared in the Sleep in the Heat music video, and then apparently in 2016 there's a video of him on CBC praising the band and the album. So that's a lot of when I was Googling the band, that's kind of like a lot of that came up. So I don't know.
They're a very like beloved band by people that aren't typically fans of pop punk or punk rock or however you want to kind of.
That's one of the problems. I don't know how I would describe them. I don't think that they fit neatly. That makes sense because it does kind of like I don't know. It's like it's more adjacent to, in my opinion, to like rock music as a general category of music. So
but then they're playing with bands like Modern Baseball. So like sure. I think they see themselves as like a punk band.
Yeah, light punk I think maybe is what I would categorize it as. It's like rockish punk. Yeah, but I don't know. Categories are hard sometimes.
The name of the album, by the way, is "The Dream Is Over," which is a direct quote from the singer's doctor after he damaged his vocal cords from screaming.
When was that?
Well, I can only imagine it would be around 2015. Album was released in 2016.
But how did they continue?
I'm not sure. Like I feel like it might be like a Blake Schwarzenbach situation. Did you ever hear like how he dealt with that? Right. He had like severe damage.
All that.
He had severe. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, severe damage to his to his vocal cords, and like he had to completely change the way he sang, which is why Dear You sounds different than the previous two records, and why there was such a backlash against him, even though he was doing it to save his career and to save his voice. But that's why his singing changes between like after Dear You.
Okay. Yeah, I did not know that. I think that the dude from Alexis on Fire had a similar thing where he had damage done, so it's not easy to scream like 6 nights a week, I guess.
I don't think, but there are some people that can just keep doing it. Like I don't know.
I assume there's
Touche
proper
more.
ways to do it.
I wouldn't know. I had a very short-lived career as a screamo artist.
Yeah. Well, I did it for a few years, and I never had any issues. So
no issues. Okay.
A little bit of hearing issues from standing really close to our amps, but that's about it.
I have severe hearing issues.
I wonder why yours would be worse.
Like I have like ringing in my ears. You have ringing in your ears?
No, just some stuff needs to get turned up a little bit.
Yeah.
But we used to play in a basement with like 4 stacks and just like it was a tiny room with no earplugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Like none of what we did as children and as teenagers was probably good for our health. In early 20s. It wasn't until like I hit 25 that I realized my mortality and started to work on stuff like that.
Yeah, well I always I opened a program.
You were always aware of that?
No. I didn't care about. I was like, "Oh, that's cool to like listen to really loud stuff." I never smoked and stuff like that, so.
No. I never smoked,
I was at least aware of that.
But that's more so like I just don't get the point. Like I'm like all about like what is the risk and what is the reward. If the reward is greater than the risk, then I'll do it.
Yes. Man, we are tangential today.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what else to say about the coast.
Well, you picked it
for
I
me.
mean...
Oh, let me tell you why another reason why I picked this band.
Okay. Back on track.
I do see PUP as a direct descendant of that Monine scene. Like I see them as being birthed from that scene. Like I see the connection. I can see the connective tissue between PUP and Monine and, you know, all of those bands that we grew up listening to that were like kind of like orbiting us as we were growing up. So that was sort of the reason why I picked them, because although, you know, they're not necessarily a band that I listen to a ton, I just identified them as coming from what I perceive to be like directly from that scene.
I think that they are very well liked like in Toronto. Like everybody I know who has mentioned them or recommended them to me are like live in Toronto, so it's maybe they are just like amazing live, and it's like you need to like have the entire experience. But just as like a one-off album, as like comparing it to other albums I could listen to at any point in my life, I didn't love it. I certainly didn't hate it, but it didn't grab me. I don't know. Maybe I'm the problem, but
I do think, yeah. and this is like, you are the problem, certainly. but this is something that it may be unique to like Canada, where like a band will become like almost mainstream in Canada because they're Canadian. And I don't know if it's like Canadian content being pushed, but that just seems like less likely now with the internet than it did back when I was growing up watching much music. Like I'm more likely to know who the Killjoys are when nobody knew who the Killjoys were except for Canadians, or like Treble Charger, or, you know, any of those like bands that at least for me were huge, like
Gob.
I don't know, Gob. Yeah. Well, though, yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought Gob was like a phenomenon. And
I
turns
think they
out they
were
were
fairly
not.
popular, but I do think it's like it's blown way out of proportion. Because like, and when we were kids, it's like, oh, like if they were interviewed by George Stromanopoulos, they're like, you can't get more famous than that.
They made it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And like that's it. So like I it's just Canadian is weird. But then there's some bands that are it's like they are exactly as big as they seem, like Bare Naked Ladies. There's no like weird like Canadiana happening there. They're just like a very popular band, I believe. I still
Right.
don't know though.
Like,
That's the thing. I can't be confident because I'm just not an American.
well, I think Bare Naked Ladies, because they made it onto like a theme song of an extremely popular television show. I feel
I
like
think they were
they've
bigger than, but like Alanis Morissette as well.
transcended.
She's obviously broke free.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
there's just
sure.
it's
But like,
weird. Yeah.
but this is a thing in England and Scotland and Quebec. It's like they have their own insular kind of celebrities that we aren't even
Yeah.
aware of how famous they are. But anyways, that's another tangent.
Yeah, and
That's pretty much all I had for PUP.
I would add that that's like the ideal level of fame, though. I think like you don't want to be more famous than that. I don't think. Like I don't know. Like I think you specifically, me for sure. But it's like if you can just become very well known in Canada, I feel like that's perfect because like no one will want to kill you.
I know. I know. I agree. I agree. I think that a certain level of fame, it becomes completely
But
undesirable.
once you're Drake, it's like yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
You can no longer live a normal life, like probably ever. And maybe there's like, I'm sure that there are benefits to that, but I also think that it would become very annoying to me. Like I don't think I think Taylor Swift is gonna have a hard time settling down.
Yeah, but you got enough money to go to wherever you want and then close the doors forever. But um yeah, and you don't get that like like Gob is never like you could pass the dude from Gob on the street. I would probably recognize him. But like I just mean like, 1,000 times and like one person might recognize him.
Right.
Man, Soda by Gob though, that song.
I
You know
love
that
God.
song? Do you know that
I
song?
was a big
That's a great song.
like off the top of my head, I know I couldn't sing it to you, but I
Do
know
you
it.
know man, okay, go back and this is not an official this is not an official One Track Minds pick, but the song Red by Treble Charger. When's the last time you heard that bad boy?
It's been a while.
Okay, that
but
song is crazy good.
but I loved those bands, and really we were just being brainwashed by Much Music, but I really thought that they were great. Um
I think
that's all
they
that's all
kind
I've
of are
got.
they kind of are great.
Are they
I
great?
think the
Okay, great.
Tragically Hip is like a good example of just like probably way bigger in Canada.
And Sloan.
Sloan. Yeah, exactly. And they kind of break out a little bit, but it's like they never quite reach those levels of success. And then when they do, you stop kind of thinking of them as Canadians, like Drake. Like
What I didn't realize until I was Googling, like going back to that Blink-182 concert that I went to at like the Bayfest concert. What I didn't realize is that a member of Sloan is the one who was a contributing member to starting Bayfest in Sarnia, which was like this big music festival that we kind of all went to. And I think that they were kind of hoping for it to become, I'm assuming, like a cool music festival, and then it devolved into something terrible.
yeah, Biff Naked too. That's another one.
Biff Naked, I loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I put them in my mind, I put them on the same level as Garbage. But I don't think that they were on the same
They're
level as
not.
Garbage.
No, definitely not. They are like, I mean, like, I think not known by anybody except for like Canadians in 2002.
And Veruca Salt. Veruca Salt's another one. Like I just think that these bands made it into my psyche as though they were famous, but they were not. And
So
and
PUP
that's
is the
that's
current.
and that's how they get you.
Yeah, so PUP is
PUP
kind
is
of
the current.
is currently in enjoying that level of success. And I that's
Yeah.
what I was saying when we were talking about Monine, because like I didn't know. I had no idea if like even if you took the most diehard, like if I freaking grabbed Anthony Fantano or whatever and was like, "Hey, do you know Monine?" Like I don't know if he would say yes or no. I have no idea. I don't know like how far they've reached. There's a lot of bands like that I just have no idea. Like and we've named them 1,000 times here, but
I have walked by the guy from Silverstein many times, and I have recognized him every time.
My only story like that is that for some reason I was walking by a guitar shop in downtown Toronto and I saw the guy from the Pettit Project. And I yelled Pettit Project to him and he went, "Hey, yeah." And he was like really unimpressed.
I did that with the guy from Wolf Parade. But I walked up to him and I started talking to him and then I walked with him for several blocks.
My good celebrity encounter that fits into this discussion is that I was on break at the GameStop in downtown Toronto where I worked, and David Bazan was on the street having a cigarette, and I spoke with him.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool.
I have one more. I was in a room alone with John K. Samson.
What? When?
But I couldn't say anything because I was too scared. I was like, I could go up to him and I could talk to this guy who is like my hero.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it because I just got like, that's the one time where like I can walk up to the guy from Wolf Parade and and walk with him for blocks.
Yeah.
But John K. Samson is on another level in my mind. So I just let him be. I just wanted him to enjoy
What room was this?
His evening. At the music gallery, which is a church that I worked at, but he was there to see his wife play a show, and he was waiting in the in this room that I was.
Is that a regret?
There,
like you could have easily been like, "Hey man, like I'm a huge fan."
I don't think so because as a general rule, when I open my mouth and I start talking to somebody like that, I say something stupid. So I think I'm quite happy. Like I talked to Kevin Devine once and I made an absolute fool of myself. So I'm quite glad that I did not speak to John K. Samson, and he's forever preserved in my mind as a perfect human being.
Okay, sure. Yeah. I'm sure he would love that.
All right.
Yeah, we made good time. All right, a couple stories, couple discussions about a band PUP, and then 1,000 other bands. Yeah, so we're gonna go next week for discussion. Not the final Canadian band we'll pick for by any means.
I'm so excited.
Yes. We're gonna go to Vancouver. We've been around Toronto. We've been to Alberta. Now we're going, or not Alberta. We've been to Manitoba, Propaganda. Now we're going to Vancouver. I'm going to pick the song "Frisky Business" by Daggermouth off of 2007 Turf Wars. So, enjoy that. Everybody listen to it and come back next week, hopefully, for a discussion from me and Matt.
Next week.
Next week,
right. Yeah. I'm back on track. Like I'm back on track. I had a busy week and a half and now I'm good to go. Right. But what I wanted to mention to you as a possibility for next month, after we do this one.
Ooh, is this gonna be is this a theme?
I was thinking maybe.
I love a theme.
Could we maybe, we're a little bit further into the year than I would have liked. I kind of wanted to do it like the halfway point, but could we potentially do like our favorite songs of the year so far? So I pick one, you pick one, I pick one, you pick one.
So 1 month, and we're doing songs that came out in 2023.
In 2023.
So we'll do like best of the year part 1, and then at the end of the year we could do best of the year part 2 kind of thing. That's right. Kind of what you
What do you think? What do you think?
I love it. I love the theme idea because like it just helps kind of. I have a long list of stuff I want to pick, so like right. I like being challenged to like go out. And I also haven't listened to that much music this year in a sense. Like this podcast is huge for me, like getting back into music, which is I mean like very appreciated. I have been listening to a lot more music and listening with a little bit more of like a critical ear than I ever would. So
all right. Well, we will see you all next week and hope you have a great week.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.